Question 15. A cone has a volume of 98 centimeters cubed. The radius of the cone is 5.13 centimeters. Part A, work out an estimate for the height of the cone. Now the formula for the volume of a cone is not one of the 20 you have to know. So you're given the formula here in the question. So I'm just going to write it out again. So the volume of a cone is a third of pi times r squared times h. My first step, I'm going to put in the numbers I've got. So instead of volume, I'm going to put 98. I'm not going to worry about estimating yet. I'm just going to have a look at the sum. So I've got a third times pi. The radius is 5.13. So I've got 5.13 squared times the height. Now obviously this paper is non-calculator, which is why we have to work out an estimate. We don't have to do these sums exactly. We have to round them to a sensible level. Now I'm going to want the h on its own. So I'm going to divide by everything on the right hand side of the equation that's not h. So I'm going to have 98 over a third times pi times 5.13 squared is equal to h. This picks me up a mark. Now I've got to start doing my sum. So I'm going to start estimating it. I'm going to show the examiner the numbers that I've used. So I've got a third times pi. Well, a third times pi is just over 3, so a third times pi, I'm going to cancel that out because a third of 3 would be 1. So I'm going to have 1 times, and instead of 5.13 squared, I'm going to make it 5. So I'm going to have 1 times 5 squared. I can already see this is going to be 25, and I know that 25 goes into 100 well. So I'm going to estimate the 98 on the numerator to be 100. I've now got my second mark. So 1 times 5 squared is 25. 100 divided 25 is 4. Any answer between 3.5 and 4.5 will get you a third mark, as there were different ways of rounding this. Part B. John uses a calculator to work out the height of the cone to 2 decimal places. Part B. Will your estimate, so that's 4, be more than John's answer or less than John's answer? Give reasons for your answer. So let's take a look at the sum I did. So I did 100. Now that was more than the 98, divided by a third of pi. Well, pi is 3.14, so actually my 1 was slightly less. 3.14, a third of 3.14 will be more than 1, times, and I made 5.13 squared 5 squared, so that was slightly less as well. So I've rounded, I've made the numerator bigger and the denominator smaller. As you divide by a smaller number, you'll get a bigger answer. So for example, 100 divided by 10 is 10. If I make the number I'm dividing by smaller, so 100 divided by 5, that's 20. As you divide by a smaller number, you get a bigger answer. Add into that, I've rounded my numerator upwards. My estimate is going to be more. So it's greater, my answer will be greater, my estimate will be greater as I rounded the numerator up and the denominator down. Make sure you write in full sentences. The mark is for the reason, not for the 50-50 guess of whether it's greater or smaller.